What about some?
Are we good? Okay, cool. It's live.
Are we
wanted
live?
to make sure. Yes, Matt is live.
Oh, hi.
Welcome in, guys. We're just kind of waiting until like we get some more people in before we like begin. I think we have this for like an hour and a half. So
An hour and a half?
It said 2 to 3:30.
You know, I was under the impression I was only being captive for an hour.
We're being held captive for an hour and a half.
Okay.
So like this is just gonna be like a Q&A. So like if you guys have any cosplay questions or like want to know how to like make something or just anything you'd like to ask, that's essentially what this is. Or like how some of our things were made, like wig style, anything.
Like maybe like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can like start, and as people accumulate, we'll be good.
Questions. Honestly, this might just be us rambling about random stuff.
Sure.
I can ramble for an hour.
Yeah. I don't know about what, but we can ramble.
Yeah.
We'll yap.
Yeah. We'll entertain you guys.
I love lo-fi music.
Yeah.
Is this too sad?
I don't think so.
Do I need like hyper? This might be like sleeping
Are you guys
music.
enjoying your con so far? I know it's only been like, what, an hour since it's opened?
Sure.
We've already had to run home and back.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Yeah, we got here like this morning so I could finish putting up my stuff, and then we had to go home and then change and then come back.
We got here, looked around for a bit, and oh god, left my debit card at home.
Oh, man.
Hi, welcome
That
in.
sucks. Welcome in.
I've been recruited.
Recruited.
Oh, nice, nice.
We love being recruited.
Thank you.
Oh wait, here we go.
As old as can be. Remember when like thinking was still selling from GameStop?
Yeah.
It was like way back when.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Cutesy. All right.
No, you want to start?
Sure,
Just
I'll start.
accepting things.
All right. Anyways, hi guys, my name is Nearlight Cosplay. I go by Sin. I've been cosplaying for about 10 years now-ish. It's been a hot minute. I started when I was like 13, I guess. My first con was probably like PersaCon. It no longer exists. Great time. And yeah, that's pretty much a summary of my life.
I am Pokegirl Jessie. I go by Jessie or Pokegirl, whatever you want to call me. I've been cosplaying for about 15 years now. It's been a long time. I started at like 11. My first con was Anime Weekend Atlanta. But yeah, just over the years, I've just started, you know, experimenting with like foam and wigs and just sewing and just still learning to this day, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is not like a time where you're not learning how to cosplay.
Yeah.
You're always learning different techniques for sure. So I guess like I'm gonna open the floor real fast. Does anybody have any questions pertaining to certain aspects of cosplay that you would like advice on or just in general? Don't be shy. I don't buy it, I promise.
I don't either.
How long do you generally plan ahead?
You want like a real timeline?
When you go into it, like usually how much time do you try to give yourself? Not counting the crunch time.
You know, okay, so like realistically, I try to plan at least like maybe 2 to 3 months for a cosplay. Does that happen? Absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not, because, you know, procrastination. Also, the first round of making a cosplay is never gonna go as expected. I've also delved into 3D printing now, which has a lot of failures that can happen. So, I mean, because you don't have control over it other than the printing itself.
So pretty much the same for me. So let me use Dragon Con for example. I will start planning my Dragon Con cosplays at least a year in advance, so I have time to make them. However, I'll begin maybe in May working on them. And it can take anywhere from like, depending on the build, from like a week to like 3 months. My Uda cosplay that I have on display upstairs, or just right over here, I don't know where we are in this building. Anyway, I wanted to do that for like 2 years after I saw the movie, didn't touch it. A week before it's supposed to be TuPueloCon, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna make this. And then I just did it. So it usually takes, I don't know, I try to plan, it doesn't always work out.
Sometimes you just impulsively decide you're
Exactly.
going to
Impulse and half your luggage to the hotel room is doing sewing machine.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. I mean, I think the quickest I've made a cosplay is 3 days.
Yeah.
I I don't know if you guys have like heard of like To Be Hero X. So yeah, I made a nice cosplay in 3 days before MomoCon. Yeah, no, we were cooking. No sleep, but I mean, you know, con crunch, cosplay is pain. So we like to experiment.
Like, we're just being honest.
Yeah, no, honestly.
I don't know anybody that like sticks to their schedule.
If they
Or
do,
if-
they're lying to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if they stick to their schedule and they're actually telling the truth. I really don't.
Any other questions?
Does have any like fabric store recommendations? I don't
Well,
really have any like weird.
So, I mean, yes, because like,
exactly. I was
Yeah.
like, mine would have been Joanne's, but never mind.
unfortunately,
I like Spoonflower.
yeah, Joanne's decided
Yeah.
to kind of kick rocks. So, actually, I do. Let me pull it up real fast if I can.
Online fabric, I honestly haven't done any research for that yet, aside from like Etsy and like I said, Spoonflower, because you can do like custom printing on fabric if you need something like very specific.
Etsy is really good for
Yeah.
fabric.
I had to order some recently.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Joann's in Tuscaloosa closed like in, like May.
It
Yeah.
did, and unfortunately, like especially if you need something that's gonna be like kind of niche, Etsy's probably gonna be your go-to. Let's see.
Like all of this fabric came from the Joann's closing sales. I was like, as soon as the Yaya Han stuff went on sale, I was grabbing it by the bolts. I was like, I'm
The
not gonna not have
expensive
this.
Yaya Han stuff, yeah. That was.
Well, and like what we were talking about on the way down here, this specific fabric, the scuba hex, it's really nice. Like the quality is really nice and it's so easy to work with.
It is
Like-
100%.
Yeah. It's like you can cut it and it doesn't like roll up or anything and it's so easy. It sews like butter, is what I like to say.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It looks like honeycombs.
It looks like honeycombs and sews like butter. It doesn't sew like honey because it's not sticky.
Let's see. Yeah. So my suggestions for fabrics: Fashion Fabrics LA, they're really good. Mood Fabrics, absolutely. There's Blue Moon Fabrics as well. If you need me to give you a list. There's Fashion Fabric Direct, and then there's Biggs, which is like BIGZ. Those are my recommendations. They're all going to be like online. I don't really know any locally to Birmingham because I'm not actually from Birmingham. I'm actually from Huntsville. Yeah. So I usually try and like go more towards Tennessee if I'm going to go locally because they have more like wholesale fabrics.
Huh, interesting.
So yeah.
I'll probably be up there for college after this year, so that's
Yeah.
nice to know that there's more stuff up there.
Yeah, no, there's some more options as far as that goes. I know there's like, I think there's like one in Decatur. I haven't been yet. I don't know what they have, so that's an option.
It went off.
Any other questions?
I was actually learning from you because I didn't know that about the fabric.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of options for fabrics. So.
Yeah. I get scared buying stuff online.
No, I'm like the kind of person that if
That's
I
good
go
to
into a fabric store, I like to like feel
That's
the
what I
fabric
do.
because you don't
I'm
know how
touchy.
thick it is.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're trying to make like an actual like coat or
Mhm.
something that isn't gonna have a lining, so you don't have it see through.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't like putting linings in there if it's not gonna be a competition piece.
Same. Or if I feel like it's gonna make it too hot or like too bulky.
Yeah, because for some reason everybody likes to put cons during summertime. I don't know why we need more winter cons. Whoever is listening.
Yeah. Because like this jacket has like a lining inside of it. I'm making James for him, but I'm not putting a lining inside of it because I know it's gonna end up being too bulky on him and it's so hot because he's wearing it during Dragon Con in like the dead heat of summer. So I was like, I'm not doing that to you. It'll be fine without it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
What's your favorite part of being a cosplayer?
Being in a cosplay?
Yeah, like what's the favorite part, like being one or being into it?
Honestly, I think it's just the aspect of being able to like dress as like a completely different character. It kind of gives you like a confidence boost comparatively when you're just dressed normal.
100%.
Yeah, you get to actually be someone else for a day, in a way. Also, just like if you've made the cosplay, it's kind of nice when you have people sitting there complimenting you on like your hard-earned work. It's kind of rewarding in its own way.
I
Yeah.
used to dress up as, I had an old Adam West Batman costume before.
Yeah.
And I'll always go to like stores like Target or somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'll always be this little kid's like, Mom, you know Batman.
Yeah.
It just like warmed my heart so much for little kids to see like a superhero there.
Yeah. Honestly, like I've gotten a lot of little kids that walk up to me when I'm in Loki, and it's adorable. They're just like, "Oh my God, it's Loki," and I'm like,
It's so cute. Yeah, I agree with what you said about that. I really enjoy being the craft goblin and like actually like making it, like working on it, and then like having that final product at the end. Like, oh my gosh, I did that. I'm like, I did that. I can't believe I actually did it. Even if it like took me a long time and I got frustrated, I might have cried over it. The whole blood, sweat, and tears, yeah, it really goes into it.
especially the blood.
Yes, especially.
I have stabbed myself a million times on needles,
Yep.
cutting out foam with X-Acto blades. Yeah, no, we're just over here just like, let me put a Band-Aid on it. All right, let's go.
It's like, if I'm not working with white fabric, it's like, I'm just gonna keep going. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think there's actually a cosplay that I made when I was in a competition. The judge was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "That's blood."
Like, we're just not gonna pay attention to
I'm
that.
like, don't worry about it. That's just blood. And
It's
she's just
fine.
like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, it's fine."
It's fine. But yeah, I like the end product and then like doing a photo shoot afterwards and being like, I actually did it. Like all that effort and all that time that went into it and like this final product and you can just be like so happy about it. That's what I like.
Yeah, and that being said, though, like I mean, there is absolutely no shame in actually buying cosplays either. I often buy cosplays too because I am old and don't like to sew as much anymore. We like to pick and choose our battles. So I mean, there's absolutely no shame in buying cosplays. There's several websites now that are available to buy cosplays from. So if you do need recommendations, I can give some.
Same. Yeah, because like I'm about 50-50 depending on like what the character is. If it's one that I can like, if it's one that I'm very passionate about, I usually try to make it just because I want to put my own personal touches into it. But if it's one for just like a fun group and it doesn't really matter that much, then I usually just buy it. And then you can always like make like your own modifications to it, which is what I like to do as well, just to like, again, give it that personal touch. So that's always fun. You can do whatever you want with it. Like you don't have to be, I know contests can be a little funky because they look at accuracy, but you don't have to be accurate to this picture. You can like take it, use it as inspiration and like make it your own. Like maybe you want to add your own little details to it. Maybe you want to do this instead. Maybe they're wearing shorts, but like, oh, I want to wear like a dress or I want to make it pants. And I just make it personal. I like doing that. I think it's fun.
Any other questions?
You guys go to thrift stores to get supplies?
Yeah. I think when I first started cosplaying, I did. Not so much anymore, and I guess that's just mainly personal preference. I have seen some astounding cosplays come from thrift stores, absolutely. You can find pieces that are already intact and just modify them to create cosplays. Like one of the cosplayers that does that famously is Allison Tabitha. She's pretty good with that too. So
I use sheets and like curtains and stuff for fabric at thrift stores. So again, my Uda that I have on display, her dress is actually made from a sheet that I got from Goodwill. Because I made just a $2 sheet, and I just made it into a dress. It's like, why not? I also use sheets and stuff for mock-up fabric. So like if you're making something, you need to make a mock-up, instead of using your nice fabric and maybe you don't have like scrap fabric on hand, you can use a sheet. It's a cheap alternative than buying like just plain fabric. But yeah, I'm all for like I love going to thrift stores and just like finding random pieces. And I use Poshmark a lot too, just to find random pieces.
Honestly, I have used Poshmark. That is something I have used. That and Depop.
I haven't heard of Depop.
Yeah, it's I've actually sold cosplays on there secondhand because, like,
Gotcha.
you know, sometimes you kind of accumulate too many cosplays, and I might have some in storage that I probably need to go through. But you can absolutely find like pieces on there. They're all secondhand, pretty cheap most of the time. Some people are kind of pricey on stuff. You can haggle with them, but yeah. So
Cool. That's
Depop is an
interesting.
option. There's actually a website I saw. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's actually meant for cosplayers to sell secondhand cosplays. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So like it's just a bunch of like secondhand, and that's probably the cheapest way to buy cosplays now is probably secondhand. So
That's something I still do too.
yeah.
Like my Sabrina cosplay, I bought it off of Facebook.
Yeah.
I got the wig and the dress for like
Yeah.
$30.
There are Facebook groups as well. I think there's one that's actually just called Secondhand Cosplays.
That's where I got it.
Yeah, and then there's Cosplay for Sale
Yeah.
that has several members on it. So you just kind of like pick and choose. If you're looking for something specific, you can search for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of niche stuff on there. Like I've seen anywhere from Monster Hunter cosplays to like even like animes that came out in the 80s. So
Yeah. And sometimes people will sell like their projects like they've abandoned, like they've started working on it, but like just didn't want to finish it for whatever reason. So they sell it and then you can finish it or use the scraps for whatever you want. And people sell fabric on there too, just like their leftover hauls. You can find a lot of like interesting stuff on there.
Any other questions?
Do you have any advice on like wearing wigs? Because I have a Leon cosplay for Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And I have to wear like a wig with it, and it seems like every time I wear it, it's either like stabbing me in the head or it's just like really uncomfortable.
I do. I absolutely do. Okay. Because like I have a Yone wig from League of Legends that is like giant ponytail, slips back. So first off, like you're gonna want to get like one of those netted like wig caps.
They usually
tuck your
come
hair
with
in
the
it.
wigs.
Yeah. And then I like to overlay on top of that like the solid like pantyhose looking ones. I know it looks stupid. You're gonna look bald, whatever. On top of that, I get one of those wig bands. Like they're kind of velvety. They have rubber ones, but I would get a velvet one.
It works better.
It Velcros. I put that on, and then I will take a paper towel or tissue paper, and I will kind of like fold it up and put it like right there where like the band is for the wig cap, like right underneath it, because then it releases that pressure. And then if you're gonna put the wig on, I would like slip it on normally, kind of style it a little bit. And what I do is like I take eyelash glue and glue it down on the sides. So that way it's not like, you know, puffing out or anything like that. Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that because it's exactly what I do. I was
There's
like, no,
methods.
that's it. That's exactly it.
Cap on and put the wig and see if it holds.
Yeah. It honestly, if you get to like wearing heavier wigs, you kind of try to learn little hacks for it, because I know for a fact,
Yeah.
like wearing a heavy wig for like 5 hours a day, it hurts your back, hurts your head. So, and it's good to also take breaks in between if you can, like just kind of like pull the wig off for a little bit if you can go to your room or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting that paper towel underneath, like right there, it helps so much. And you want to make sure like the wig actually fits you. I know some people like have bigger heads. My recommendation would be to go to like Arda or something like that, because Arda does make like wigs like proportioned properly. And you want to make sure that the wig is actually like positioned properly. So like those ear holes, like they shouldn't be pressing up against your ear too much, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And also make sure like the little adjustment tabs inside the wig aren't actually clipped on, because some people don't undo those when the wig comes in. That'll help it like become bigger. You can also cut those out if you need to.
Yeah. I know some people don't know, but like the clips, they don't clip together. They there's little loops in the back that they clip onto. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at it. You'll see these little like loops, and that's where the clip goes into. And that's just to like size it to your head.
Yeah.
But not everybody needs that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other questions?
Well, where do you guys normally buy your wigs from?
I use Amazon a lot if I need something budget-wise, I do really like Arda.
Mm-hmm.
I've only gotten a few wigs from Arda just because they are a little more expensive, but their quality is very nice.
Yes.
And they're great for like heavy styling.
This is an Arda wig.
And see, it looks very nice. This is an Amazon wig.
Yeah, lace fronts.
Yeah.
So my recommendations would be like Cosplay. They have very character-oriented wigs. They do have some like normal wigs. Arda, of course. Epic Cosplay Wigs.
Yeah.
They're pretty good, especially if you need something quick. They're really quick
Yeah.
to ship. Not many things are in back stock on that. There is another company that I've used. It's like 5 Wit Wigs, I think. And then Amazon, surprisingly, if you look at the reviews, just
Yes.
you want to make sure that when you're reading the reviews for Amazon, you're looking at like wefts. Like if the whole wig looks netted in the review, don't buy that. Don't buy that. You want it to like only have like kind of like netted up at the top, and then the wefts need to be like separated, if that makes sense.
But you can kind of see when you flip the wig inside out, it'll have like that lace looking netting.
Yeah.
And then you can see the wefts. Like if you look at a Party City wig and you flip it inside out, it has like that, the little tiny hole netting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
No, because those don't actually like size properly.
No. It'll be very small.
But yeah, like my recommendations, I will say like if you're looking to get a cosplay wig and you need it ASAP, go with like Epic or like Amazon. If you aren't in a bind and you can wait, Cosplay and Arda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there are some other like cosplay websites like Mitt Costumes and like Easy Cosplay that also sell like those character wigs. Then they usually ship pretty fast depending on the time of the year. My Iono cosplay wig came from, I think it was Mitt Costumes, and then I just did styling to it. Like it came with like the colors, it was already pre-styled, I just like fixed it up.
Yeah, actually Doki Doki has some good options.
Yes, my pudding wig came from Doki Doki.
I will say though, if you're wanting something that's gonna last a long time, Doki Doki, I've had one for about 2 years and he looking kind of scrungly. So you might want to be careful about that, especially if you're not making what they call like a helmet wig now. If you're gonna be making something more feathered and natural looking, then they're probably gonna want something that's like stronger, which is like Arda or Epic. So
Yeah. And one thing, if you do, like maybe you go to Amazon and you buy one of their cheaper wigs and like the cap is pretty nice and it fits nice, but it looks like a little shiny, crimp it. I would recommend getting a crimping iron, like a small crimping iron, and crimp it, straighten it, brush it out. You're gonna love yourself afterwards. And it also helps with the tangling too.
it does.
And it makes styling a lot easier as well.
There's several tutorials now that you can follow for crimping. Just make sure you're crimping like vertically.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds weird, but it means like you're grabbing like multiple like weft layers at the same time, not like you're actually holding the crimper vertically.
Yeah.
It took me forever to figure that out. So,
I've been holding the camper like
no. You're just trying to grab like multiple layers so you can blend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for a whole week.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like,
Yeah.
I have ADHD brain, so sometimes I'm like sitting there like, I don't understand, like comprehending things. So, yeah. Any other questions?
So, I think you do too. Work with foam.
I do.
Yeah, so we also work with foam if you're interested in like prop building.
I made a whole Odegarin armor set from Monster Hunter. That was a 6-month project, by the way. Like, I did not crunch on that one, I swear. That one I literally timed out because I really love Monster Hunter, and that's like my baby. I don't wear it often because like I can probably only wear that one for like 3 hours tops, and I have to have a handler because I can't sit down.
Yeah. That's like my Urza.
Yeah.
The big armor ones are hard to deal with.
Armor, it looks great, looks fantastic,
Yeah.
but you are gonna be in pain. I will not lie to you, and you will look like you're like walking around like you've been like riding a horse all day. Like you're just waddling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, my Urza took a few months. I want to say about 4 months. And most of that was just waiting for paint to dry and Classy Dip to dry. And you're working in the South in the humidity, so like your things aren't sealing correctly, so you're having to wait for the weather to cooperate.
Yeah, no.
Struggles.
Humidity is like your biggest enemy. Like, I wish I could make like a paint booth at this point, because then you wouldn't have to deal with it. Because I've even had issues with 3D printing, because your filament, if it gets too moist, it will cause a lot of issues, like especially like with extruding. You'll have issues where it's like got like layer shifts and like layer lines galore. Like, I actually just had that issue before I came here, so, which is why one of my props is not done. So, any other questions?
What kind of 3D print do you use?
So I splurged a bit. I actually have two. They're both Prusas. Definitely worth it though, because I think splurging on a expensive printer in the long run is going to save you, because you're not having to do as much maintenance as you would as printing. Prusa is pretty good. They actually have some new models out. I think there's like an MK4 that's pretty good, and the bedside's pretty standard. I've heard that Ender, like the newer Enders, are pretty good. They auto bed level, so you don't have to do as much lifting with that. It's just maintenance. And then, what is that other brand? Anycubic is kind of a hit or miss, but there's some that are pretty good with that too. But I would definitely like look into like actually putting back money for a printer, so you know you have something that you know is going to last, and you're not having to sit there and battle it, and it would be more beginner friendly. So, and like the slicing software for that has been fantastic. So.
Yeah, I'm in an engineering class in school. I do tracing.
Oh, yeah.
Drafting engineering, and we actually learned how to do like 3D print stuff. So there's one day I had like, it was during like winter break, so we weren't doing anything in class.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, make me a battery.
Yeah.
I was in my system, I was putting in codes and dragging stuff and all that, and I made the battery from the Batman artist.
Yeah.
And a teacher had it, and he printed it out. He used, I think it's like Bamboo Labs.
Yeah, Bamboo Labs. That one is pretty good from what I've heard. It does require the same maintenance as like any other 3D printer goes. I will say like what helped me the most was the fact that when I bought my Prusa, it comes as a kit. So you are technically assembling it, but that helps you learn the inside and out of your printer. So if something does go wrong,